Hello everyone. How are you? I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Welcome to my channel to update and new video. Carly shows up at Dex's looking for Joss, but there is no answer as she bangs on his door. Joss eventually opens the door and says Dex is gone. Carly enters, and Joss explains that when she got here Sunny was here, but Dex wasn't. Dex did leave her a letter and his dog tags. Carly asks what the letter Dex left her said. She says he left it to make it safe for everyone, and he loves her. She cries Dex said this would happen, and Sunny would have to send him away for knowing too much. Carly notes Dex is right. Joss asks how she knows Sunny didn't kill Dex. Carly says Sunny wouldn't do that, but Joss never thought he'd leave her mom, that he'd turn on Michael, and that he'd hurt all those who love him. Carly believes Dex is alive and Sunny let him live because of Joss. Joss cries she won't let Sunny keep her and Dex apart, and she's been searching this place for something from Dex's former life that can help her find him. She refuses to believe he's gone. Carly knows Joss is hurt, but Dex is alive and it could have gone differently. Carly feels Joss should direct some of her anger towards her for convincing Dex to stay with Sunny. Joss knows Dex believed in Sunny, and her mom does too, but she doesn't understand why. Carly says for her, it is because of Donna, and yes, Sunny has hurt her, but she has hurt him too. Carly says there have been people in her life who wouldn't quit on her no matter what, so she doesn't quit on Sunny even when he messes up. Joss cries that Sunny doesn't deserve her loyalty or Dex's. Carly says Dex knew what he was getting into, and how Sunny operates, just as she does. Joss asks why everyone has to be loyal to Sunny, but he doesn't have to reciprocate. Joss blames herself in part for this mess. Carly says Sunny loves her, and that's the only reason Dex is alive. Joss doesn't want Sunny's love and begs her mom to help find Dex. Carly asks Joss if she goes in search of Dex. What if she does find him? She points out Dex is free from Sunny, which is what Joss wanted, and to give Dex a chance to have this new life. Joss refuses and states she's going to find Dex and they can start a new life together. At the Quartermain mansion, Brooke Lynn looks at the first issue of Crimson under Carly and points out Deception got maximum coverage in the magazine. Suddenly, Lois shows up with a surprise. Lois has brought the wedding invites from the printer and reads the invitation to them. Brooke Lynn loves it and says it's perfect. Tracy simply thinks about Gregory reminding her not to fight with Lois over the wedding. Tracy blurts out that these invites are far from perfect. Tracy notes the invites don't have the "and guests" clause, and she thinks this is because Lois dropped it from her proof to take a jab at her not being good enough to have a +1. Lois denies the accusation, and Brooke Lynn says it was a misprint, and she shows Tracy the master proof they sent to the printer with the guest clause. Tracy demands they fire the printer, but Lois won't as was an honest mistake. She also tells Tracy she can bring anyone she wants, and asks who the lucky guy is. Tracy says she has no one to bring right now, and she's content with that. Tracy leaves, and Lois can tell Brooke Lynn is worried about her grandma. Lois tells her Tracy doesn't need anyone but Tracy. Brooke Lynn isn't sure. There is a loneliness in her since she lost Luke. Stella runs into a distracted Marshall at the hospital. She asks if he is okay. He says he just came from his psychiatrist, and he got good news that he doesn't know how to handle it. Marshall says he's been weaned off his meds, and it confirms he was misdiagnosed as he's had no episodes of schizophrenia. Stella states there is no use dwelling on the past, and he should thank God that he is finally free. Marshall says he doesn't feel free. Marshall can't believe he never once questioned his diagnosis. She says nobody did back then, and doctors were like gods. Marshall asks if what happened to him wasn't schizophrenia, then what was it? And what if it happens again? Stella says what happened back then was a mystery, and people want to solve mysteries. Marshall doesn't think it's fair he spends what time he has left searching for answers. Marshall realizes he may have to live with not knowing what was wrong with him. But he's been feeling better than he has in years. The weight of his diagnosis is gone, and he needs to focus on today and the future. Marshall appreciates Stella for listening to him, and she says it's what she does. He gives her a peck on the cheek, thanks her, and takes off. Stella then calls Felicia up for a favor. At the Invader, Gregory and Alexis look over their latest digital issue with Olivia's murder on the front page. Valentin arrives and congratulates them on their latest story on Olivia. Alexis asks why he dropped by. He assumes Sean hasn't talked to her yet. She saw an email from him, but didn't read it yet. Valentin reveals he bought the Invader. Alexis says he has to be joking, as he's never shown any interest in publishing. He says she stepped out of law and has flourished in the field, and he made Sean a very generous offer to help him with his foundation's purpose of exposing injustice. Alexis says if he's come to take away her editorial control and turn this into a money-making rag, then she quits. Valentin admits he wants to make money, but she's been doing a fine job, and he doesn't see a reason to change things. Alexis says usually new owners want to tinker with things. Valentin says the Invader is her baby, and he won't mess with that. However, with Sean gone, she will need a publisher with experience. Alexis asks if he has someone in mind. Suddenly, Nina arrives and hopes she's not late. Alexis introduces Nina to Gregory, and Nina assures Alexis that she did not accept Valentin's offer to take over. She was as surprised as anyone when Valentin told her of his idea, and she got excited. She is impressed with how Alexis has turned this paper around and wants to help her hone her vision. Alexis says since she'll be taking orders from Nina, why was she fired from her last job? Nina says she keeps her personal and professional life apart. But Drew doesn't, and he fired her to put Carly in charge to get back at her. Nina hasn't run a daily paper, but she knows how the publishing industry works and is prepared to make this work. Alexis shakes Nina's hand, and Valentin is pleased. Valentin and Nina head out, and Alexis tells Gregory to go ahead and say what he's thinking. Gregory knows she's taking a risk. Alexis is, but won't leave the Invader until she knows what Nina and Valentin are up to. In the hall, Nina assures Valentin she won't mess with Alex's work. However, she admits the Invader can use a little sexing up, and could focus a little more on the stories readers are interested in, such as Carly and Drew. Trina returns home and puts on a brave face for Curtis. He says he doesn't have to hide from him what she's feeling. She insists she's not hiding and is fine. He says if there is a time she isn't fine, she doesn't have to pretend she is. Trina notes people always ask if you are okay, and you tell them you are so as to not tell them the truth and make them uncomfortable. Curtis understands, but that isn't how it goes here or with him. Trina knows, but she is afraid to let what she's feeling come out. She feels if she does, she'll fall apart and never be able to put herself back together again. Curtis says her pain and hurt can't be contained forever, and it will turn toxic in time. All that toxic grief will get to her heart and make it harder, and the light inside her will dim. Trina doesn't know what to do with what she's feeling. He says to share it and let it out. He had to learn to do that. It broke him, but his family put him back together. She falls into his arms, and he says they'll catch her every time she falls. Trina feels like with Spencer gone, all the color in the world is gone too. Everything she cared about, she doesn't anymore, and wonders if that will go away in time. Curtis can't say, he's just here to listen. She says PCU is emailing her about whether she's coming back, and she doesn't know if she can. Curtis tells her then don't. Trina replies, try telling that to Mom. Curtis knows it will take time, but even her mom will get there. He says her mom just wants her to be happy again. Trina doesn't know how to do that aside from a miracle. She doesn't know how to keep Spencer in her life, and fears one day all she'll have left of him is the turtle dove, which she shows Curtis. Curtis says if she wants to keep Spencer present, then share her memories of him, and she can start with the figurine and why it's so special. She explains the story of it to Curtis. On the next General Hospital, Anna has an offer for Cyrus. Jordan is surprised. Valentin offers Nina advice.